Hello, Galaxy! I'm Chris Perillo, and you're watching me again because that's what you do on Friday evenings, if not every evening at 6 p.m., even though Loyal Moses never remembers that time. I'm printing something for Loyal, as you can see in one of the quadrants. I'm doing the tractor, as modeled by Fix'em Dude. Very appreciated that model for the effort to print toys for families, and specifically kids who otherwise would go without toys this holiday season. So I'm printing Christmas gifts. I would say it's the gift that keeps on giving, but inevitably my printer would run out of filament at some point. But you can be a part of the effort. You could also donate money if you don't have a 3D printer to the cause. The link is in chat. I think, what is it? Print. What is it, Liz? Liz set up the command last night, and now I can't remember what it is. Print something. It's such a long command. I don't know. It's got like over 3 characters. Oh, thank you, Loyal. Loyal's got an easy one. Support.shopbmr.com. BMR Badger Mountain Research. Did I at least get that TLA correct? That 3-letter acronym? Either way, I'm printing more. There it is. Print drive. That's what it is. I gotta remember. Print drive. Print drive. Thank you, Liz, for setting that up. And thank you, Loyal, for making the effort. It is Friday evening. So as I have been trying to do over the past few weeks, bringing in people that are on my radar, that I have conversations with throughout the average day, if not week. So tonight is no exception to that. A few weeks ago, I was doing a Twitter space talking about, I think it was Pixel or Android or one of the two, Android 12 maybe, and that's when this guy here, who's going to go by the handle, I'm just going to introduce him with his handle, AltDad Tech, which reminds me a lot of the Usenet news groups back in the day. If you remember alt news groups, I remember those. Rec news groups and alt news groups. That shows my age. Either way, he's also creating videos. He jumped onto the Twitter space. I invited him as a host, though I didn't really know much about his background, but he laid down some knowledge, specifically having remembered everything that I have said in the past about certain software experiences. So I said, hey, at some point, do you want to jump on and talk about whatever? I'd say talk shop, but we may not talk shop specifically. Geeking out about one thing or another. So without further ado, this is the user. See, we're all users. We fight for the users. The user known as AltDad Tech. And now they can hear you.
Awesome. Well, that was a heck of an intro. I like that. It was like I remember the Twitter space. It was like such a roll of the dice. Like you had some trepidation. You're like, listen, I'm going to let this guy in. You preemptively apologized, kind of. You're like, this could go horribly wrong. But I think it went pretty well, given that, well, we see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. So that was kind of nice. But I appreciate having me on, and I look forward to, I'm going to see some familiar names because I've watched a lot of your content, like Liz. I know she moderates a lot of your stuff. So hi, Liz. We've never met, but I guess now we have kind of.
Liz gets a shout out.
Yeah. And so I'm down to just hang out and chat about stuff. So
Great.
Let's just do that.
So I'll be keeping an eye on chat, of course, and keeping the conversation going and flowing. You do seemingly have the same eye that I do for technology, and that's specifically software. So, I think if I had any question, what is it about software that draws your attention? That is to say, when you look at technology and software seemingly is more important than hardware, at least that's the experience you drive to. Why is that the case for you, if it's the case?
Yeah, it is. I would say, I think people act like it's absolute. You either like only hardware or software. I like both, right? Like I want the hardware to be nice. I care about it, but like that only gets me so far, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit there and look at it and go, oh, look how smooth the edges are. Look at the glass, the Corning Gorilla Glass, whatever, shatterproof. I don't care about that at the end of the day, because unless what I'm doing on it is bringing value to me, then it's irrelevant. And so, I know some people, they kind of fetishize the hardware. It looks great, it feels premium, all of these kind of things. And so, and again, nothing wrong with that, right? I'm in that category, but I think it's equally as important to emphasize how much the software unlocks, and that's really what sells the hardware at the end of the day for me. The glass without anything running is just material to me. So that's my outlook on software, versus really just like, oh, it looks great and shiny, and what's next? What are you going to do on that? That's how I view it.
Why is it the case then that more tech video producers, techies on YouTube or beyond, why is it that more of them aren't concentrating on the software? Why is it that that's the exception to the rule? The rule is you must talk about the hardware.
So I'm gonna be all over the place when it comes to this answer here. I would say number one is that a lot of times it's you have to use this stuff pretty extensively to really know the ins and outs. That's why like day one reviews, like other than like accessories, but and a few other edge cases, like day one reviews, I'm like, like, are you just telling me like high level talking points, or did you actually use this? Because there's a big difference there. I would say, there's been a focus on, I'm going to be nice, like hyper produced content where you can't tell seemingly if this is an ad or if this is someone's experience. And I value the experience more than, 8K video, HDR. Like, it's great. People are really talented, but I want to know what was it like for you to use it. And I feel like that's been removed in a lot of conversations. For me, like tech commentary, I remember back in the day where it was just like someone seemingly putting a camera on like their shoulder and you saw greasy thumbs, comparing things, and I loved that, right? And then it kind of slowly turned into just like high quality videos, but not as substantive. I didn't really walk away knowing anything more and anything less. I was just whelmed at best. That rhymed. I didn't even mean to. And so, part of the reason I even started my channel earlier this year was because I'm like, well, I have an opinion and I want to voice it, but I feel like I'm watching the same videos. I understand everyone has a different style. They may have a different flow in how they talk, but I was walking away with the same pieces of information, and I wanted something a little more fun, like a little more intimate, I guess is the best way. Like, hey, what was it like for you? And I have to know your baseline too, right? A lot of times I can't even tell where they're coming from. I can't carry experience from one device to another, so I don't know fundamentally what I'm working with. You may find this great and this not great, and someone else it might be the exact opposite way. And so to me, they just became, and not everyone, and it's not every tech video, it's just saying that the trend was focus on the production value and less on information being delivered to your audience. You're more or less just talking about a lot of what you would know just going on the website and looking it up. And so I think it pays well, I'll be honest with you. And the videos themselves, they look they're great. It's far better than anything I'll ever put together. But the good thing about the internet and YouTube and a lot of this stuff is that everyone has their own personal preference. They have their own viewpoints, and so that's what I saw. And so I'm like, well, I want to bring something different. To why it stayed that way, I don't know. I think a bigger systemic problem was tech YouTubers, which influencer. These terms are they're all over the place. I think they transitioned from helping people make purchasing decisions to just being kind of for people already into tech. They already have picked a place that they want to align, whether it's Samsung, Apple, LG, RIP, and they're sticking to that. And you might see my daughter come here with a little Play-Doh here. But people have already laid their bed, and they're just looking for maybe some confirmation bias, or they're just looking. Hold on, honey. Or they're just looking for to be entertained. There's nothing wrong with that, but I care more about the people that don't know any better, and they're genuinely wondering, like, what was this like for you? What am I going to miss out on leaving this camper or moving from here to here? We've talked offline about I'm switching. It's like, okay, let's settle down there. Surly group there, but yeah, that's my quick overall. I hate to generalize, but for time's sake, you kind of have to. That's my take on it. And so I'm like, I want to do something different, and you are that different already. I've watched you for years, and so that's why we see eye to eye on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but that's also a problem because, as much as I've been consistent in terms of voice and presenting as raw as possible, that is unedited, it's not what it takes to do anything on YouTube. And that's one of the reasons why I think that most of the community has moved on from YouTube. I mean, there are pockets of it, but yeah, I'm not a video producer. I'm not a video editor. I'm a live streamer, right? Which is why my stomping ground is more on Twitch. And then if I post a video to YouTube, it's always edited. And I'm edited. It's clipped out of a live video. Don't worry about your child interrupting. The same thing happened in my Pixel 6 review that got posted this morning. Like literally, virtually the same.
Oh, yeah.
There was no Play-Doh that was involved. But it was for another reason. But that's life, and I sometimes I prefer to have that in a video because it humanizes you.
Yeah, maybe that's a good way to put it. So a lot of the comments I get, it's like, this is different. This is like, I prefer this is not any creator, but I cannot stand the someone staring off without any type of umph, and it's just like reading a script, and I'm like, it numbs. Like I just can't relate to that. And so like the human level that you add, like even having your child walk in, or you kind of just sit here for an hour rambling on about something, hopefully with some level of progression, I guess, in a linear way. But I like that more. I could watch that all day. I could listen to it all day. And that's why I've always been drawn to you. And there's a ton of other creators that are very similar to that. But the trend on YouTube is not really that way. And I think furthermore, and this has kind of had a pernicious effect, I think, on tech YouTube, is the brands now, they kind of know how to massage the what they want to be known via these tech influencers, if you want to call it that. And so I think that's played into it, because now they get very limited time with the device before they get these embargoes and all these reviews. They get those early, and they got to churn it out quick. And so what do you give up for that, right? You give up, one, using it longer, and then you also need to get something done fast. Well, in any type of journalism, getting it out there first usually is not the greatest, right? It's what's accurate, what's this and that. And so I think that has played kind of a role into why it's, well, this looks really good and it'll please the people that want to see really good footage, but you're not going to walk away knowing a whole lot more than something you could have just went on the manufacturer's website for. And everyone's kind of echoing the same thing, just styled a little differently.
And that's, inevitably it was going to be commoditized, but it makes it that much more challenging, as much as it's important to evolve, and my production value has increased over time. The issue is that if I'm not in alignment with what everybody else does, then my standing out is actually, or your potential standing out is perceived sometimes as a negative. Like, well, you should do it more like X, Y, or Z people do, right? Which is like, well, I'm not them, and if you want them, go to them. But that expectation is raised, out there, that if you're not, oh, you had a bad experience with something? Well, why did nobody else talk about that bad experience? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not them. And that's where I feel like in years past, it's like I wasn't being gaslit, but like this was right around iOS 7. Nah, I'll go back even further than that. Windows Vista was probably in the modern era, the first time that I was really steeped in an ecosystem. This video, you want to talk about crappy video, like it was just bad. Like quality was bad, but it was very much my style, like shooting my mouth off live to tape, right? And I came out and basically said, yeah, I'm upgrading to Windows XP from Windows Vista, which, was the opposite of what, should have been happening, because it was just such a step backwards. And I took my lumps. Like, so many people, how dare you, and blah, 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 and I don't have problems, therefore you don't. Like, I'm just, and it's been that way with everything that I touch in relation to technology. I mean, surprisingly enough, I'm not going to say that 3D printing has somewhat been different, but the 3D printer community, I'm surprised. I mean, there are people who are firmly like team this, that, or the other thing, but for the most part, I don't see it. I don't see a lot of it, or it's not as dramatic as I've seen with people sitting in an iOS versus Android camp, or a Mac versus PC camp. But it makes it that much more challenging that when you give your perspective, your raw opinion, you share your experiences, that if it runs counter to the narrative that you just got finished watching 9 videos about the Pixel 6 Pro, and none of them were critical. None of them. They might have said, yeah, it's a little heavy, but, it's great, and look at it, Okay, so those 9 videos, they all got published, and then I'm the 10th one that says, what are they doing? I I don't want this. I don't want two numbers stacked on top of two numbers. Why can't I change that? I don't want pastel colors. Why can't I change that? What happened to being able to change the fonts? I can't change that anymore. Like, why is the Pixel launcher like that much further behind, and why is Android stunting the development of third-party launchers? Every single one of them. Like, I can just like rattle off every single complaint that I have, and people say, "Well, that's not a review." I'm like, the hell, it's not. Like, just because I'm not Sunshine and Lollipops doesn't mean that it wasn't like, direct, but it makes it that much more difficult given my style, potentially given your style, when contrasted against those who are all like, hey, it's awesome. And it's like, but it isn't. And it really isn't. In my humble opinion, it isn't. And I feel like I'm not doing any audience, whether it's a person who doesn't know what they're doing or a person who does know what they're doing, right? I feel I'm doing them a disservice if I'm being disingenuous with anybody.
Yeah. No, everything you said is spot on. I think there's a game played on YouTube, right? There's a lot of things that people get upset at me. I don't care because, listen, if I was wrong, this would be called out already. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos, but I think there's a thirst for it, right? I don't know if there's a great awakening or some version of a tech renaissance happening, but me starting out as early as I have, the growth that I've seen is pretty good. And a lot of people are even admitting, like, I thought I was the only one that noticed this, and they see this like well-oiled machine, right? You get reviews and videos that are all, and I'm going to generalize because I know someone's going to think, this creator doesn't do that. And I'm just, for time's sake.
Sure.
You kind of, there's this whole process. You get your inbox is flooded at 8 a.m. with the embargo review, and then a day later you get a full review in 10 minutes, which I'm like, how on earth did you use this thing like and be able to walk away and tell me everything I need to know in 10 minutes? It's beyond insane to me. But it's all so well oiled and so I guess perfunctory, a lot of it. And so I think you're seeing things kind of change because one thing's playing right now, or one thing that's playing into this is like hardware's not as exciting as it used to be for people, which I like, thank you. I'm so done with people just doing weird stuff in the name to be different. Like the hardware race is coming to an end, and this ties into like leaks and rumors. I mean, nowadays we can't even just be excited and go over what we have right now. We got to talk about, well, iPhone 14 and 15 and 16 and ad infinitum. And it's like, and it's chasing views and it's really because they've played that card. They've played the outrage, what's new, what's hot, all that stuff. And I think it's played out, and a lot of people see that, but there hasn't been, and I'm sure people are going to find you too, because I'm starting to see it switch over to a certain degree into like, I need someone who's going to shoot straight instead of this kind of everything's great, please brands work with me, I'll take anything and just tell me what you want me to say, because that's easier and it sells better. And to your point, you watch all of them and it's like, there's nothing wrong with this device. So what you're telling me, I got into a Twitter conversation with someone. I'm like, so you're telling me everything's perfect? Because there's only two options. Either everything is entirely perfect,
right,
or there's things that could be worked on. And your video didn't have anything to be worked on, so I'm led to believe that it's perfect. Well, it's not perfect. Okay, well, let's dive into the nuance. And that's
right.
It's not sexy, right? It's not sexy. It takes a lot more work. It takes doing what you do, honestly, which is giving your opinions. And sometimes it takes 10 videos and an hour long each of them, whatever. But like these 10 to 12 minute just high level overviews, they're not doing anything for anyone. And a lot of people, and I know you've brought this up too, the cognitive dissonance and the confirmation bias, there's people that proactively hunt for videos so they can feel good about what they bought, right? The verses, it's not really, here's the thing. You watch those versus videos, and people are so blown away by this, and they're like, I didn't even think of that. They don't actually tell you why they're switching. It's usually, it's new, it's shiny, I'm going to this, and it rakes in the views because it's polarizing, because Samsung, it's usually Samsung and Apple. Samsung, it's, S21 Ultra versus iPhone 13 Pro Max. It's very, very SEO friendly, right? Everyone wants to know, did my phone win? And you don't even walk away learning anything. They don't really give their experience. And then a week later, it's like, why I messed up, right? People are done with the Macaulay Culkin hand on face. Oh man, don't buy this until you get this Forbes-ified tech YouTube that we have. It's getting played out. And I think a lot of people are going to struggle. And
you really think it's played out? I think it's heating up. I think it's getting, I don't like it. I didn't like it.
Me neither.
I didn't like it in iOS 7 days. I mean, I really didn't. I didn't like it in the iOS 7 days. I didn't like it in the iPhone 10 days. And that's ultimately when I just walked away from it. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I'm sorry. I can't be a cheerleader for something that I don't believe in. You know, I can't, and I mean, I'm very clear about where my biases are. Like, I'll be a cheerleader in something that I got a hand in, and it's something that I'm there to support. But like, that doesn't mean that everything that hits my hand, I've got to be rah rah sis boom bah. Like, it's just it's not possible. I can't do it.
Yeah. So in my version of it's played out is that I think there is, and it could be a small portion of the YouTube tech market or whatever you want to call it, the audience, but there's a lot of people I think craving some level of like, I guess, more honesty, more substance. And I'm not saying I'm like, you know, I'm here, you know, what I'm saying is that's going to be my approach. You know, this idea that there's no criticisms. I mean, I kind of joke about some of these trends I see on YouTube in the videos I do. I'm like, there's nothing wrong. Like did you use it more than 5 minutes? You know, the I'm switching, like all of these trends. I think people that even like seeing those videos for entertainment purposes, which is valid, I still think there's a level of they still appreciate someone like me, you, and other people like Adam, you know, bringing a level of like realism to the conversations. You know?
I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
I think it's all about eye candy. I think it's all about seriously production value, things that I can't. I mean, I'm not as interested in. And it's never been my style. It's never been anything close to what I've done or might have been interested in potentially doing. But that's the thing, is you've got to do it. You got to play the game. You got to give people eye candy. That's the only way. Yeah. It's the only way. So I don't see it getting better. I see it getting worse.
It could. And that's what I don't know yet. I go off of, and it could be the minority. I go off of some of the comments that I see, and sure, that doesn't represent, you know, everyone on YouTube, but you know, I think people see the game that's being played. I just don't think there's enough creators out there that don't want to play it. They may talk about not playing it or not want to, but and it's easy, right? It's a quick sale. And so my strategy, my strategy for this is kind of poking fun at the trends that I see, but also still trying to bring some level of value. You know, I kind of like your your mantra of like, I don't want to talk to the nerds. Like, you've already made up your mind. You're here for some other nefarious reason. You're not here to actually go, gee, what was your experience? You're here to tell me why an opinion's wrong, which I still find fascinating. Like, it's my opinion. And another thing I find funny too on the side is people bring like anecdotes and they're like, this is factual. This represents the world. It's like, what? No, like, your Android 12 experience is great. Sure, that might be fantastic. Mine's not that great, you know?
Okay, yeah, let's talk Android 12. What do you think?
Yeah. So I'm like I haven't played with it enough, just keeping it real. I feel like they went too far with the minimalism and took away from functionality. You know, it's weird how, like, I don't mind the bubbles per se, but even in watching some of your videos and seeing Trent in his conversations and videos, you know, some of the stuff that, you know, some diehard Android enthusiasts, specifically vanilla Android, like, they removed some very like silly things that it's like, why? What was the point? Like, we didn't gain anything. Like, I understand a trade-off, you know, hey, we gave up this, we're getting this. Okay, that's a conversation. But simply removing things and going, see you later, like, that was kind of like a And so that's why I was really interested in your experience, because I know we have a similar eye for that kind of stuff. And I'm like, am I reading too far into this? Like, I know I sent you that link to the subreddit where they were like tearing it apart. They're like, what are they doing?
Yeah. I mean, I love seeing that, because it's like, then I don't feel like the outlier, right? Like, I'm not, but the problem is that I think they'll say it's a vocal minority. And I don't know about that. I think it's not just about being in the vocal minority and seeing what's there and just not accepting it. I have to accept it for what it is, not for what it's going to be 6 months from now. Like, I'm telling you, don't rush don't rush with the Pixel. Don't rush. Don't rush.
That's a really good point. I find that you know, outside of YouTube, what Mac Rumors, 9to5 Mac, Android, all these places, when embargoes lift and there's reviews from the top 10 creators that we all know, they don't have the nicest things to say. They're like, I'm not watching that. These are ads. I'm not, you know what I mean? So I totally get why there seems to be a weird, like, you know, schism between what you might find on a YouTube video and then what you might find on a subreddit, or even the tweet thread you sent me, where they're like, what is going on with this, you know? And what's funny is that because it's like a weird catch-22, because it's not talked about enough, everyone seems like an edge case. Like, you're an edge case. I think Artem, his name is, he's the edge case. You guys are making stuff up, and it's like, here's my quick rant. you want someone with that level of I guess that eye, that Perillo eye that I joke about, or even Artem, some other people that have that really, you almost wish you don't have it, and I kind of have it a little
I
bit.
know. You don't
You
want
don't
it.
want it.
You don't
You
want
don't
it.
want it. It's like seeing into the future almost. You're like, it sounds great, you don't want it. And so I want those people though. I want them to be the ones that dictate how good of an experience I get, because sure, I may not notice it, I may not value the issue, or I may under or devalue. Oh, well, that's not a big deal to me. You know, what's 20 frames per second? Please, if that ever happens on the phone, I'm gonna cry. Like, I want picky people deciding on these things, because even if people don't realize it, they're like inadvertently getting a better experience. And that's what's so mind-numbing to me.
But that's the thing I've been pushing for years. It's like, I'm not just complaining for the sake of complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm certainly not complaining for views, because those obviously don't come. But like, I just to sit there and say, look, it shouldn't be this way. It should be this way. So I can offer a reasonable alternative to draw near every complaint that I've lobbied. And by the way, I am watching chat. Papa Bear AZ says, okay, making me charge up my Pixel to get updates to see what the hoopla is about. Don't do it. Android 12, it may be interesting 6 months from now, but it just feels, I gotta tell you, being a Pixel fan, or a former Pixel fan, because honestly, like, the Pixel 4 XL was the last good Pixel experience I had, and so that's now 2 generations ago. Which 2 generations removed, I'm like, I'm no longer really a fan of that particular product. I was a fan of what it did, of what it was. Mm-hmm. Back then, but it's like, I mean, I think I asked you this, and I generally threw it out there with my review of the Pixel that went public on YouTube this morning. What, who is this for? Who is the Pixel? I think I asked you that in your I replied to one of your videos. Who is it for? Like, right. It's not for the iPhone users. It's not for the Samsung users, because I'd be shocked. Yep. Do I love Samsung? No, I can't. I cannot go that far. Do I appreciate what Samsung's done? Yes. Do I think they're out of the woods? No. They can stand a lot of improvement, especially in the photography realm, or the image processing. The computational photography. It's not the lenses that are the shortcoming. It's the actual output. But they're not. I can't make an argument for a Samsung user to switch to a Pixel anymore. I can't make an argument for an iPhone user to switch to a Pixel. Like, who's the Pixel for? Who is it for?
I've that video, I kind of went through like the history briefly, like, Nexus, what it meant, and who its target audience was for, and I feel like they're holding on to that. But I'm like, and this is the greatest test, right? Forget all of my whatever, right? You're going into a carrier, not you, but someone. Why on earth would they even go to the Pixel area? Okay, made by Google. Okay, what does that mean? And people already have people already feel a certain way about these different companies, right? So, okay, made by Google. Okay, what? Well, it does really cool things, right? But you can't even get to that conversation if you can't get past the why should they buy this, like in a comparison, all three of them,
right?
And an average person that we like to trot out but never really do a good job of representing or giving information. Why would they pick this? See, now, granted, the price, sure, okay, that's the thing. But listen, between carrier deals and the regular iPhone 13 and the regular S21, I know there's so many derivatives. That's a whole nother conversation. Why on earth? Like, get the iPhone 13. And people aren't just switching flippantly. And I think, again, that's that there's a weird disconnect between like YouTubers that are switching to every piece of hardware that comes out and like the real life average person that's upgrading 2, 3, 4 years now, given the hardware we have. Why on earth would they go, you know what, I've had iPhones for a decade. Pixel, no. Even Samsung's certainly not doing that. And so that is my conversation. Forget the fact that they don't sell in like any other country but a handful. Forget the fact that they seemingly can't make enough to ship them out on time. Forget all of those things. Even Android 12, if we table that, if Android 12 was perfect, like, why would someone switch? And until they can figure that out, or at least have some marketing strategy that will overcome some of that, I don't know what the long-term goal of them is. I was hoping we'd get a Pixel Watch, a tablet, a Pixel everything, right? Make that your bread and butter. That is your premium experience for Google everything. Give us hardware that gives us access to it, and refine that, and just over and over again every year, right? But like, you like the 4XL, I did too. They leaned into Project Solely. Then next year it's gone, and it's like, and I remember you joking about it because you got it, and there was like an app or two that supported it. You're like, what is this good for? It's gotten better, but
I knew it was just a gimmick. It was going to be a gimmick. It was bound to be a gimmick. I'm like, this is not going to stick.
Yeah, and in my opinion, you set an expectation, right? Good or bad. Even if you have pick a random company, if they have a piece of whatever in their software that's kind of like silly, but they give it to you every year, well, your expectation is that it's there. And I feel like the same thing is well, it's not really happening with Google. I mean, one year they're all in with a single lens, then they're all in with, both the 6 and or both phones have the same camera setup, and then they're in with, we're going to go more budget friendly this year, and then we're going to go premium, and then we're going to have Soli, and then we're not going to have it. Again, I could forgive all of that if I had some idea of like what direction they're headed in, but they seem just kind of like half-hearted. We'll make a phone of the people and then we'll see what happens. And I'm like, I personally can't buy into that. I'm far more inclined to buy into Samsung's, where sure, there's things that I'm like, you need to stop. But overall, they're the closest thing to let's say Apple, as far as brand recognition, having the ecosystem, delivering a consistent experience. And so I was hoping that now we don't have LG and some other companies that maybe Google could fill that slot. I just don't see that. They just don't seem to care that much. Maybe that's a good way to put it, in my opinion.
And I mean, speaking of tablets, I'm not sure if we'll see a tablet. But I'd imagine that there's been a suggestion that with Android 12L, we'll see a Pixel Fold. And I look at it and I'm thinking, well, I don't want a Samsung Fold. And I don't like the Pixel experience. So why would I want a foldable Pixel when I don't even like the one that doesn't fold? And I'm not all that interested in a foldable device. If only because of the screen stability issues that I've seen at a distance. I'm just not as inclined. That said, I still feel that Samsung has done more for Android in the general software experience. In using the S21 Ultra for the past 6 months or so, it feels like Samsung has figured out how to make Android palatable, and Google missed the mark entirely with Android 12. I mean,
so this is... Yeah, the fact that you're saying that is this is a different Chris. This is not bacon chocolate Imperial Stout Chris.
It is not.
Which is great. But you're right. And what's like so frustrating is that anywhere you go, it feels like every company is like 80, 90% there. And it's like that last home stretch. Like, why did you drop the ball here? You were so close. And it drives me nuts. And I agree with you that Samsung has done a lot for tablets. And speaking of foldables, I think the biggest problem you're going to see is
just phones, tablets, even smartwatches, to the point where Google leaned on them with Wear OS. But that's the watch is a tangent. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so my point with the foldables is that you're going to have an issue already, because can you imagine now apps with a Pixel? You can't even get a consistent... You can't even get developers to all agree on the same design language. You can't even get Google sometimes to agree on their own material. I know it's not design anymore; it's something else. I think they can't even adhere to their own guidelines. Seemingly sometimes. I mean, I joke about the Play Store. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me being picky. I don't like the Play Store. For years now, I'm like, this is so janky. We have all the hardware in the world. We got more hardware than it took to put someone on the moon. We got variable refresh rates. We got all this stuff. And when the Play Store, I'm like, I can't.
It's bad.
It launches me into space. I want to dissolve.
So the Play Store is bad on every platform, and it's been that way for years, despite the changes they've made. Plus, I will say this: Samsung, and it remains to be seen whether or not OnePlus will fare well with ColorOS and the modifications they've made with it in eliminating jank. Samsung mitigates jank in a weird way. It's still there, but it's oddly differently palatable. I'm not going to say more palatable.
I know exactly what you're talking about too.
But it's like instead of scrolling and juddering, right? It'll bounce. It's a weird animation effect that Samsung lays on. You see it in the Play Store, you see it on Twitter and Amazon and so many of the more popular apps.
There's a level of elasticity, I guess, that they've added to it. Instead of like a frame dropping, it's like a frame bouncing around. You're like, you know what? I'll take this.
Take it. I will. I mean, it's weird. The first time I saw it was in Google Photos. I was scrolling and I was like, why is it bouncing back? And then I realized, I'm like, oh, over time, I'm like, that's how it's compensating for Android's inability to render well. So my question is, I'm really interested in trying Android 12 on my Samsung device because of the improvements that Google made with Android 12, eliminating some jank, not all of it. You can only go through so much, but they did make some certain changes such that Android 12 was snappier on my Pixel 4 XL than Android 11 was. It was palpable. I'm like, okay, this is definitely snappier. But then when I got the 6 Pro, it was like, I mean, it's fine, but I don't know. This is really a better Android experience than I've been used to on the Samsung device. So it's like, and I never imagined flipping to the Samsung device, you know, because honestly, the Pixel camera I adore. I think the Pixel camera is like far and away one of the better cameras ever produced in smartphones. It kicks the crap out of an iPhone. But it doesn't take much. I know everyone's like, but the iPhone's like, no. Let me just stop you right there. I mean, I've done the video comparisons, the side by sides, the pixel peeping. And it also shows where Samsung's got a long way to go in terms of optimization for photo output. And by the way, thank you, everybody. I got to do a shout out here because Wicked Woodrow said, great show, gentlemen. Really appreciate that. I know a couple people, you're listening along. I'm watching chat. I'm trying to reply when we can in and out of this conversation, but thank you for listening. This is important for me to talk about, especially with someone who's got, is like-minded in terms of that experience. But that's why it pains me even more to say, and this is pretty much, I came to the conclusion with my quote-unquote final Pixel review video, and said, yeah, I'm not sure I can recommend it today. I said, maybe wait another 6 months. But I can't do this video 6 months from now. Like, someone's going to look at this 6 months. If I did a review 6 months from now, like, people would be like, what are you talking about, dude? That was like 6 months ago. Like, well, when am I supposed to talk about it, right? Am I supposed to talk about it when it's fine, or when it's brand new? And unfortunately, that's the cycle that you get caught in.
Yeah, and what gets frustrating is, you know, even if you get this is a hurdle, a mental hurdle in and of itself. Even when you get people to kind of acknowledge, you know, some level of, oh, that is an issue, this like excuse for every company, like every year, it's like the prices seemingly go up and up, and the gains seem to be minimal, and then it's just like, you know, software updates in perpetuity. How's that sound? And it's like, well, like, when am I going to get it? Oh, well, listen, I mean, what? It's like, okay, like I know Google, like, it's no shame or no shade, but I'm just saying I would have a hard time telling someone, hey, go get a Pixel 6, right? But there's a few issues. They said they're going to address it in December. I'll be honest with you. Samsung, Apple, Google, a lot of these companies, I would say Apple probably has a better track record with getting fixes out there quicker, just from a logistics standpoint. They don't have to jump through a bunch of hurdles for the most part, and carriers and all that stuff.
Wait, who said that they're going to get an update out, and about what in December?
So apparently, and I don't know if some people are saying it's when the phone's off, and some when it's on, when they're pressing the side.
Screen. Who cares? I'm sorry, but if your screen's flashing when your device is off and you press the power button 3 times, who cares? The device is off.
This is true. Well, you know, this is true, and I feel the same way. But that was just an example of, like, even Apple does it with, you know, oh, this new camera mode's fantastic, and it's like, oh, by the way, later iOS. I'm like, why are you selling me this phone based upon there's only a handful of things different? You made this one of your biggest features, and I gotta wait now and then hope that it gets refined. Like, I don't like that at all from any company. So I mean, there's 2 hurdles there. One is getting something to acknowledge as an issue, and like to your point, you know, some people may not care. First of all, the phone's off. Why are you pressing the? I don't even know. The mental gymnastics required.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, it's an issue, yes, but like, in relation to jank, is it an issue?
Oh, it's a distant tenth.
Is it an issue in terms of customization? Like, it's just not. No. It's not. It doesn't register. So why is that the thing that's getting? Because enough people complained, right? And so that's my biggest problem is that. You know, when people say, oh, you complain too much, I'm like, no, other people aren't complaining enough. And let me just go ahead and put my product manager hat on for a moment. Like, I want, if I show something to somebody, I want, like, this ain't personal. Like, tell me what's good, what isn't good, what does it need to be? And so that's to me where, quote unquote, tech YouTube falls short. They're not critical enough. People aren't being critical enough, and I mean on everything, and that's what pushes that's what pushes for better products. You don't get a better product, or you don't get a better experience by just accepting for something for what it is without being critical for something that you believe is missing. And if enough people don't talk about those things, then number one, it makes outliers of the people who do, and two, it won't actually improve for anybody. And competition makes everybody healthier. It makes for a better ecosystem. We're talking everything across the board. Competition in the marketplace for anything. And if you don't challenge all those assumptions, it's hard to fathom. I can't consider you a quote unquote fan of tech if you love everything. I can't, because you're not. That's not being a fan. Being a fan is taking something, and accepting it, but also being able to say, look, this could have been done better, right? And you've got to be critical about it. You can't just be smiles and, rainbows and lollipops for anything and everything. That's not, I don't think that's, the fans should be the most critical, because they're sitting here telling you, hey, this is why I love the Pixel. I no longer love the Pixel. This is why I loved the iPhone. I no longer love the iPhone. Things that I used to consider myself fans of. Yep. But it constantly changes. That's not my fault. It's not. Don't get mad at me. Don't shoot the messenger. What do you want me to do? Hey, if I could slap this always on display into submission, I would. Mm-hmm. But I can't. Don't get mad at me. It's not. Yeah. Your anger is misplaced.
Yeah, and that's what I find so funny is I'm like, are you a fan? Or, listen, I think there's a little bit of, I think tech YouTubers, whatever you want to label them as, they're jaded a little bit, because they're buying every single thing every year, even if it's, not a massive upgrade, and they're hyping it up. And sometimes it feels like a weird extension of the company itself that's selling it. And there's this, listen, I'll be very fun. There's this idea that you need to get brand deals and sponsors. And the only way to do that is to be like groupthink yes man, right? If I want Apple to send me something, I got to be, everything's great. Access. Please send me something. I'm like, why are you looking at me like that? Please send me something. It's like, it's so bizarre. I put so much more credence, if you will, into someone that listen, the optics sometimes matter more than the reality of things. If you say, I bought this with my own money, I didn't get this sent to me, whatever, I'm probably going to give you a little more credibility, because you're going to be a little more picky because you put your money up there. And I'm not saying everyone that sent anything is disingenuous.
Right,
I'm just saying, yeah, I just, there's a level of, again, humanism, if you want to add, if you want to use that term, that I'm like, oh, you bought this, I know you, like, okay, what was this like? I even tell people, go find reviews from someone that really doesn't like the product, because guess what? They're going to probably exacerbate or exaggerate, whatever little issues that are there that some other people aren't even going to bring up at all. And you can make a better informed kind of decision.
Well, it's kind of like, Star Wars is somewhat different, because entertainment is subjective, right? What you're entertained by may not be what I'm entertained by. And so it's like, I'm going to give my opinion about one thing or another. I consider myself a Star Wars fan. Does that mean I love everything about Star Wars? Well, to a certain degree, yes. But I also find it difficult to say that I love or hate something. I'm just generally a fan of it. Do I think certain things could have been done better? Absolutely. Should the sequel trilogy have been planned out from the beginning? It shocks me that it wasn't, honestly, but it explains a lot of what happened. It could have been done better, but that's entertainment. Now we're talking about technology. Technology is more empirical. It either runs well or it doesn't. It's either a good experience or it isn't. It's very much black and white. And if you've got something that's got promise and potential that's being held back, they only know, again, wearing my product manager hat, I only know about a problem if someone else tells me, if I don't see it. If I don't see it myself, I have to count on somebody else seeing it. And if they see something, they don't tell me because they don't want to hurt my feelings, or they want whatever, I'm like, that doesn't do me any good. It doesn't do me any good, and it doesn't do the product any good, because that product could have been better with more critical feedback. That, again, my current role is a product manager, and I am telling you, that kind of feedback, the one that is just brutal and just direct and honest, and like, it needs to be this, you listen to those people most, not the people who are cheerleading. You need cheerleaders, no doubt about that, but to make that product better, you've got to challenge your convictions. You got to push yourself. You got to make it be something that you didn't realize it could be, based upon the support your community, right? And your community are the ones who are going to be direct with you. So you know what? It needs this, and this. And the cheerleaders don't do that. The cheerleaders don't go, you need to do this. The cheerleaders say, yeah, we love everything. I'm like, but really?
Yeah, and that
Really?
almost reminds me. Yeah, I could see. This is again, not to. I don't like invoking Steve Jobs and companies from a decade ago or 5 years ago and beholding them that they can never change or evolve. But
It's
I'm like,
important.
that's literally, if you read some of the articles, I remember you sharing, I'm like, the conflict brought resolution and the best idea won. Instead, it almost seems like we have, everything's great, we can make no mistakes, isn't everything great? And I'm like, the cheerleaders need to come after the product people have had their say. Then you can cheer it on all you want. I would expect nonetheless. But when the cheerleading comes first and then everyone else has to scrambled eggs fix it later down the road, that's a whiff to me. Even like, not to go down the route of the notch on the MacBook, forget about the phone, whatever. Like, to me, I'm like, how on earth, Snazzy Labs, I think his name is, whatever, how on earth was that even listen, if they fired Forstall over whatever it was, I don't know all the ins and outs, how did this how was the whole that launched me into space?
So Tim has done very well and again, all personal opinions, all personal perspectives. No, I 100% everything I'm saying is 100% me. The thoughts and opinions of myself or anything that gets shared is not necessarily the thoughts and opinions of my employer. But Tim Cook has done a great job with supply chain. Like, he's done a fantastic job at that part. But he's not a product guy. He's not. And that shows. He's not product. And I'm more, as a product manager, I'm more of the Steve Jobs way of thinking than anybody. And the product to me has always been marketing. That's my approach to marketing is community oriented. My approach to marketing is more product oriented. Like, and it's not everybody shares that approach. Not everybody shares that opinion. But yeah, I believe the product comes first. And the best form of marketing is just having a great product, because it speaks for itself. It markets itself. But you've got to solve the problems of that product, and you can't pretend that the problems don't exist, and you can't keep glossing over the products, and you can't keep treating hardware differently than software. Like, they should be on equal footing, and they're not. And maybe that's why I'm so vocal about software as much as I am, because it's like right now it's just, for the longest time, they just have not been on equal footing, specifically in the smartphone space. Like, the software just is almost secondary to the hardware, the notch being just one example. I think you remember me saying this in the first days of the notch that Apple pushed out, that the hardware has to warp, or the software has to warp itself around the hardware choices. And it shouldn't be that. It should never be that way. Like, the living embodiment of it is the notch. Now, I'm not going to even say they mitigated it on iOS. I think it's still an abomination. But the notch on the MacBook Pro is only good if you run dark mode and don't have big menu bars, which is fine. At that point, it's mitigated. That's the thing I asked for with the notch. I'm like, hey, you've got this here. Let me render it invisible by throwing a dark background, a completely black background behind the time and the other status icons, whatever at the top. Just let me do that, and that way I don't see it. Let other people, if they want to do another way, let it do it that way. So that's the way I would prefer to not see the notch. They didn't make it that way. At least they can do that with Mac OS.
Yeah, on the iPhone, they told you to kind of embrace it. They're like, don't touch it. This is part of our identity. You need to work around it. And I remember some of the software on Apple's own apps and third-party apps on the first year on the iPhone 10. I was like, this is horrible. On the Mac, it's the exact opposite approach. They're like, dark mode, and you can black it out. And I'm like, oh, great, that I like that. Just give me the option. Like, this idea we can have toggles. Like, I know we talked about. Put on high performance, 120 hertz, like, force it on. I'll take half the screen time that I have, because I'll have 8 times better experience. So I'm with you on that. But to me, what makes me laugh is people acting like the notch is like an actual positive thing. I'm like, I don't think so. Because here's the thing, even on the iPhone, right, on the 10s, they actually had wallpapers. Their promo images were hiding it.
Yep.
On
Yep.
the MacBook,
Yep.
the wallpapers are hiding it. What's this? You know, the iPhone 13 Pro or all the 13 series, really, they have a smaller notch. Now there's rumors of a hole punch. We're excited for it. So Apple doesn't like the notch. It's a compromise that I think we're going to look back on, because let's ask ourselves this: is there any display at all that we would be okay with cutting out? Would you take a notch on your TV? Well, that's different. No, it's not. You're viewing content. You're interacting with it, whether it's a smart TV or not. Why would you take a cutout? And you'll never convince me, even with Face ID. I mean, I understand it functionally. I do, which kind of makes me laugh, because a lot of people the night before the rumor or the MacBook came out, it's like, oh, as long as everything was predicated on getting Face ID, and lo and behold, no Face ID. So I'm like, well, what are we gonna do today? A mental backflip, I guess.
It's backflips and stretches. Like, dude, like you can see it a mile away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, people have asked what I think, and I'm like, well, I think I personally, my personal opinion, me personally, I prefer my screens without notches. The hole punches have been far more palatable, on Android, certainly, and I think iOS potentially could benefit. That said, I have a bigger problem with iOS than I do the notch. So it's like, even with the hole punch, I'm like, yeah, but it's still iOS. And the funny thing is, I said that years ago about Android. I'm like, yeah, but it's still Android. Well, now, like, it feels like a lot of that experience is kind of shifted, at least as far as those devices are concerned, which is good. I mean, it's technology. It needs to evolve. It needs to continue to push forward. But I just wish that more people had, these real kinds of conversations about what's missing or what's not perfect, what could be improved upon, rather than, hey, it's the new device from X, Y, and Z. I get really nervous, because it's very difficult to know and to get good judgment for what really truly matters to you as a software enthusiast, when everybody out there is talking about the hardware, and they may or may not be critical about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a bouncing act, because even me, like, I can't, like, I would much rather sit here and just turn the camera on and talk and not have to add anything to it. But I know I have to add some level of that to retain anyone, which that's fair. The market speaks. I have to do that. But I still think that at least for me, that I'm going to add my, here's how you want an argument, because sometimes, it's not often, but these conversations, if they care more about how your delivery was or the tone of it versus the substance, take the win, because you won that one. Because if you're wrong, the internet's really great at telling you you're wrong. But I find it, I find that lacking, and that's part of the reason why I even got involved in creating a YouTube channel at all, was because I found myself, I don't even have to agree with you. At least if I come to you for your review or your look-sees, like I know I'm getting something authentic, versus a lot of times it's kind of just everything's great, kumbaya, to your point. And that's what's frustrating me, is that, like, someone like yourself, literally, if you had a day with Google, Samsung, and Google to go over everything, people would be going nuts with the tangible, like what they would get delivered to their phone if we went down this rabbit trail. And they got an update, the Chris Perlow update. People would lose their mind. I know,
dude. I would welcome that with, like, yes, I would make the time. Like, here's what you need to fix. This. And I would do it. By the way, Kapakash says you shouldn't need to not see it. He's talking about the notch, and then asked the question, has iOS evolved as much as Android? And I don't think it has, which is probably my bigger problem, because Apple's in a position where they don't need to change their identity all that much. Like, they sadly probably won't. And I say sadly because iOS needs, in my humble opinion, to be rebooted in a big way. Plumbing, like, overwhelmingly. Like, even with the latest updates on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, Twitter is one app that's still locked at 60 frames per second, because developers have to opt in. And Twitter's bad on Android, but it's even worse on iOS, because there's the plumbing of iOS is just, it's old and it looks the same, which is fine for the people that want it to look the same, but at some point, like, it's just, I feel, holding back the power, promise, and potential of Apple's hardware, the software. I say the same
Yeah.
thing about the iPad. It's the reason I switched to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus.
Mhm.
And I've been fine with it. It's been great. I have far fewer. I've been less annoyed with the Samsung tablet, despite Android not being optimized for tablets. We'll wait until 12L comes down the pike, and then the S8 Plus coming right around the corner. It's been far more of a better tablet experience for me.
Dex is insane.
Yeah, Dex is great. I've run Dex mode almost. There's some design issues that Dex has that I don't like. But it's far more reasonable to run in Dex than it is to run iPad OS, and the software being the same, all things considered.
I almost evaporated when the M1's in the iPad Pro, and I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like Apple should literally steal some of the fundamentals of Dex and carry it over, because Dex with a not M1 chip and not all of the whiz bang crazy specs that you've come to expect from Apple, which is funny because they used to never do that. Now they brag about how much RAM and all the.
I know.
Like, you never used to do this.
It's
this
funny,
never
isn't it?
used to be a thing.
It's funny, isn't
ever.
it? Funny.
Yep. Listen, I'm not Nostradamus. This was something that Tim Cook actually, I think I forget who wrote his Steve Jobs autobiography. Steve Jobs actually said, I think one of his only concerns with Tim Cook, or one of his only criticisms, was he's not a product guy.
Yeah.
He is not a product guy.
Yep.
I think he's done great things socially for them. Obviously, economically, he's done a lot for them, but product guy he is not. But the other with Dex and the Samsung tablet, like, yeah, sure, you're not getting the iPad apps, right? But I'm like, what are you doing on, kind of like when you talk about the smartwatch? It's like, what are you doing on there? Because for me, I'm like a stock apps guy. I'm like web browser, notes, settings, files, all done. Like, I'm not one of those people, I need all these apps. I used to be, not anymore.
I know, me too.
And so it's impressive what Samsung's doing. They're keeping the tablet, at least for Android, they're keeping it alive, for sure.
Yeah, that's I think a lot of the changes coming down the pike with Android L, Samsung has already baked into their platform, right? They did it. And Google's borrowing from them. Like, it's obvious. Like, oh, now you can do this. I'm like, you could do that on a Samsung tablet. Oh, now you can do this. I'm like, yeah, but Samsung was doing that and better than Google was doing it. Samsung has figured out Android experiences better than Google has. And I'm telling you, I'm just telling you, and I don't like everything Samsung does. I do not.
Oh, for sure.
Like, there are some things that I wish that Samsung wouldn't do. I wish I could do things differently personally. But like the tablet experience, because Android tablets have had such a bad rap, I don't know if it's ever going to take hold like the iPad did. Because
I agree with you on that one. I think part of me thinks, like, I don't know if tablets, like even with Google, like, they've done a few of their own tablets, but part of me thinks maybe they think 2-in-1s are kind of the thing going forward, so they're not really caught up in an iPad competitor. But I would say Samsung, the only caveat I will give Samsung is there's a little more massaging needed to make it the way you want, but you can still get there. Versus in other instances, there's no your beat. And to your point, if you've looked at Android over time, like vanilla Android and One UI and all that stuff, Google gets inspired by what Samsung does, which is very odd to me. Like, I find one-handed mode, how they've integrated it. I think 2 years ago, Samsung did that whole one UI thing, or I don't know how long it's been, but they've done a really good job of cleaning it up. Now, there's some things I'm like, I'm not a fan. I don't really get caught up on app redundancy, because if you know anything, you can get rid of them. But I understand it. There is a little, it can feel like a tug of war sometimes with market. You have Galaxy Store, and then you have the Play Store, but you can work your way around that. Not saying it's not an issue, but it's like, listen, given everything we have, that's one I can live with, I guess.
And I think that's where I came to that conclusion as well. Like, I was like, because I ended up just switching, because I was using on my Samsung device, I was using Google Phone, because I was like, I like Google Phone, I like I like how it looks, I like how it feels. But I realized, I'm like, well, I'm not really getting any benefits from it anymore, right? On the Pixel, I got the benefit, but like, I'm like, well, am I really getting it here? And then even the contacts app, I'm like, well, what do I need a contacts app to be? I'm like, okay, well, the Samsung app, I can connect to the Google account. The calendar app, I'm not a fan of. Like, Samsung throws too much of itself in there. And I'm like, okay, I don't want this stuff connected to a Samsung account. I don't need my contacts managed in a Samsung account. I don't need my calendars managed in a Samsung account. But you can't turn that off. I mean, you can ignore it, but you can't eliminate it. Like it's always there, which is just annoying to say the least.
Because you almost feel like there's resources being used or
Right.
something, and you
It's
just want
there.
decluttered.
Yeah.
But I think I would Jones for is like a Google Play edition of like an S21 Ultra or something with Pixel post processing or something like that.
I totally agree.
That would be A1.
Yep, I would love to see, and I don't think we will, because there's so much that has to be tuned into the actual lenses. But I would love to see Google work with like Samsung or like an OEMs, let's say in general, like having let's say Samsung pays Google to create a camera app or even a separate camera app that I'd buy for my Samsung device created by Google. Like you can I mean, I've got Gcam on here and it does okay. Like you can this is the Pixel. You can effectively sideload Gcam without rooting. And I mean, I got Gcam, running, and it's fine, but it's just not, even in using it and appreciating the images, it's like, because the lenses and the way it's optimized, it's like it's pixel processing, but still the Samsung lens, and so it comes across as like the best of one, but the worst of another, and so it doesn't do it for me. It does not do it for me. And by the way, I want to be mindful of time. We're at about an hour, and I know you've got family clamoring for you.
Oh, she's fine. She's I'll be done in a little bit. Okay, honey, I'll be right out. Go play with the whatever the toys. I can't remember. Too many toys.
No worries.
But no, I appreciate that. No, this is fun. I mean, it's once you find someone with a similar outlook, not like perfectly identical, but similar enough, it's like, oh, you relate to this. It's almost like relieving because you're like, I'm not insane here. I know these things could be better. So I appreciate that, and I hope some of my people. I'm looking at Twitter real quick. I'm hoping some of my people moseyed on over.
It's possible.
I know it's Friday.
Well, Twitch is always weird. Like if you're used to YouTube, like Twitch is like this no man's land, which is funny. Like it's content, right? People are here, there, or wherever. So
it's kind of interesting talking about YouTube and Twitch, like how these platforms each like their pros and cons, and it's like even like YouTube Shorts and stuff. I'm like, man, like it seems like they all copy certain elements of one another, but don't fully execute it in the way. Like if you're not, this is how I feel. If you're not going to do it differently and add value, then like what's the point other than checking off a box saying, oh yeah, we have that too? But it's like you have it worse.
Yeah.
Which live streaming, I'm assuming Twitch is better.
It is in many, 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 many ways, like countless ways. So, yeah, no, I'm always happy to geek out with folks, especially those of like minds.
Yeah, I watched your camera comparison too. I think you've done two. I think the 13 Pro Max and the Pixel.
Yep.
I think and the S21 Ultra.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw the rumors today for the S22 Ultra. And I'm like, man, I wish they would like take a year and just go like post processing, without all the fancy buzzwords that we hear that really just mean what is this photo going to look like. I think they need to do that. My one grievance with Samsung phones or their cameras at least is skin tones, like in people,
right,
indoors especially, a little challenging. I'll give them credit outdoor, wide angle. I think they still have one of the best wide angle cameras out there. But there's certain instances where I'm like, and that's what kind of stinks, because again, we're like 90% there, and it's like, well, if you really want to take a photo, you almost have to have like an arsenal of phones on you. Photo, pixel, video recording, iPhone. You want this phone, and it's like, can they all just like figure this out and just, can we move on past this? Because I feel like, I get tired of talking about the same thing.
Theoretically, I mean, according to the leaks, I'm fine with them keeping the same lenses if they improve the computational photography, if they improve the software. Now, if they keep the same lenses and don't do anything in terms of the output, like if it's the same, it'll be admittedly a disappointment, because like I mean, there's some shots that are great, but like you don't have to go very far to see that things are not great by comparison, like at all. So it's actually, I'm very hopeful that this is a year where, because they're not upgrading the hardware, that in order to have something to brag about with their device, because everyone wants to talk about their camera, but if it's the same hardware, they can't really brag about that. The only way to brag about their new camera is to say they improved the output by X, Y, and Z. So
Yeah.
that has given me a massive amount of hope. A massive amount of hope.
Yeah, and that's the one thing, you know, and it's definitely doable because that's Google's bread and butter. I mean, if I think for several years they used if the identical or the same sensor generation on their cameras, but they seemingly every year was still getting better. So it just shows you that like this hardware race that is so silly, where it's like, hey, you know, what can we show on a Geekbench score or a graph with no context, and yeah, oh, that looks great. Like that's not selling phones. It's selling, I guess, people doing videos on them, like or whatever. But you know, I think they need to take time to work on the post-processing because the hardware is more than there. It's more than there, and I'd rather see them direct focus on what's going to give you that like moody pixel-looking photo or whatever. Even maybe it can be better than Google. Maybe they can do their own thing and make it even better. I want to see that. I don't need to see you show me how fancy this lens is and everything, because that doesn't mean anything to me. What means something to me is when I look at the photo after I take it.
That's right.
How does it look?
That's right.
That's how I feel.
It's all about the output. It's all about the output. Liz has been posting. Hopefully you don't mind. She's been posting your YouTube link in the chat as we've been going back and forth. That's good.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I assume that's where you would be pushing people to, over to your YouTube channel.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, be warned. If you like, Chris and I are similar in a lot of how we think. Maybe different delivery. He's far more articulate than I am.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. But you know, I would appreciate anyone that stops on by and you can listen to. You know, what's funny is people like to label you right away. It's like, oh, like everything's not great. Well, you must be complaining. I'm like, no. Criticizing and complaining are very different. Criticizing is because I myself want it better and I want it better for you. Complaining is like you have no real resolution for it. I'm bringing ideas. I'm like, this could be better X, Y, and Z. You know, if they listen or not, which most companies seemingly don't because there's not enough of us, that's on them. But it's not complaining. I've always valued someone that's saying, here's where it could be better, and you've always done that. And so that's really what I try to do too, with a little bit of, if I can muster up some wit, I'll add that in there so it can be there. You know, it's good, so it can be watched.
It's good conversational style. I always like those videos because I feel like I'm listening to someone talking versus like a commercial where I'm like, I can pop out at any time.
Yeah. The new iPhone 13 has a new display. It allows for, I'm like, really? Let's talk about that display because it ain't 120 hertz. Sure, it has the ability to, but I have the ability to do a lot of stuff and it ain't happening.
No, the promotion on the iPhone is definitely not what it should be. And the promotion display, from everything that I've heard, ain't what it should be on the Mac either. So
it's that, yeah. Well, I find it funny. I remember bringing up blooming on the iPad Pro with the mini LED, and everyone's like, "Oh no!" I mean, even MKBHD goes, you know, "Oh, you know," he said something like, "I was trying to paint a narrative." I'm like, "Listen, I don't care. We had all these embargo review units. We've gone on. I mean, you will never convince me that no one saw this." And this goes back to using it. I was in not to derail this whole thing, but just an overall kind of representation of why we have some of these massive whiffs out of the gate that never get addressed or they do later. Lower brightness, mini LED, because it's dimming zones, it's lighting up pixels even that don't necessarily need to be lit, just because that's how it is. It's not, I don't know if it's micro LEDs, the better version, but anyway, mini LED, and it was like 50% brightness, and I'm seeing all this like ghosting. I'm like, what? And I still have a bone to pick with you because you did the folder popping bug that I didn't see. Well, I just never unsaw it. That's how this was. The blooming. And so you see like this white ghosting and around all of these UI elements, especially if it's in dark mode. And people were like, "Oh, well, who uses?" I can't even comprehend the semantics. Who uses a tablet, you know, with that kind of brightness and in the dark? I'm like,
oh my
God, everyone at some point.
Yeah.
Like, imagine the qualifiers having to change to fit the argument that has little weight behind it already. And so, you know, now they're recognizing it though, right? You see articles, oh, you know, the new MacBook Pro has less blooming than the iPad. I'm like, whoa. What iPad? Because remember, we go back a few months, it didn't exist.
Trust me, they said the same thing about every iteration of no, iOS 7 was really bad. They're like, iOS 8 is much better. Oh no, iOS 8 was really bad. iOS 9 is so much better. I'm like,
and you're like, wait,
but
I said that.
I'm like, it's yes, and that didn't change, and it still hasn't changed, and it's still bad. Yeah, it's funny how that works.
It's like, hey, Chris, is iOS 7 worse than iOS 8, or is iOS all yes?
It's yes.
Yes to all.
Yes to everything.
All of them. but I try to I know I don't know I've agitated probably a few larger creators, and I'm like, listen, it's
I know
at
I
the end
have.
of the day.
I know I
Yeah,
have.
I have too, because this sounds pretentious, but it's because I'm right, not necessarily about every software thing. There's some level of preference there. I'm willing to agree. But like the trends that I see that are just played out. I mean, it's just played out, and people, you shouldn't start out this way. I'm like, listen, I'm good. Like if this turns into anything, that's great. I'm just like you. I think you've said I'm a nerd with a camera, and I'm going to talk about the things I care about. But I'm hoping, as you can see, it's late for me. I'm hoping that if I can help like one person, like I've already had it. If I help one person that goes, I didn't know that, thank you. I've had comments like, no one else talked about this, thanks for bringing this up.
Yeah.
Like that's a win for me. I'm not
Big
here
win.
to win over tech YouTubers that are viewers, like the people that are just on YouTube watching every video.
Right.
Like that's their life. That's fine. Like that's clearly an audience for that. That is fine. It's entertainment. But I care more about people that don't know any better, keeping them from making like a mistake with purchasing something or updating the software. I'll never forget the video you had with your dad about, I think it was Windows, where they changed
8.
the home button.
It was
and
8.
he goes, what do they want me to go to, or Windows 8? What do they want me to go to Mac or something?
Yeah.
Like I want to help people like that. Now listen, the audience on YouTube is really the other side of that, but that's okay. I think there's a balance that I can strike, but it's definitely, it's been annoying for years, not being gaslit, but kind of told, well, don't talk about it because why? That's more annoying. I know I can't be gaslit because you can't tell me my experience didn't happen. That's literally impossible. But you can start to feel like no one cares, and I think more people care than not. It's just there's not a lot of outlets to go for that right now. I'm being dead serious, not to pump your ego or whatever, but like you're probably one of the only people out of like 2 on YouTube that if I really want to know the ins and outs, I really want to know the nuance, I want to know the good, the bad, the in between, it's going to be you. And I think we need more people like that. And
there won't be. I mean, there will be, maybe, but there won't be because I'm not the norm, and I never was the norm, and I never played to the norm, and I'm not trying to be norm, which explains why, perceivably, you could look at, well, why does Chris have this many thousands of people on YouTube who follow him, but no one watches his videos? I'm like, because I don't do YouTube very well. Never have, never will. Like I just not as interesting to me. I'll still produce and put things there, but like I've done a lot, and I'm not. Maybe when YouTube, to your point earlier, when YouTube starts taking live streaming much more seriously than it has, and treats it like a first class, passenger aboard the ride, then it'll be different. But it ain't there. Just like with shorts, it's not there. Not right now. Not even close.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So,
there's definitely the game, right? You don't really play the SEO game.
Yeah, I'm not good at it.
Which can be annoying. I almost play it, but I try to make sure that whatever I'm delivering on it. If it is clickbait or whatever, like delivering on that. But it is a shame that even like for a lot of even creators far bigger than me, and it's tough for some of them that want to like have a level of authenticity and not kind of fit the mold. You kind of get cast aside. And so I guess that's probably why we're labeled as more vocal than we should be.
Right.
But I'm like, that doesn't matter, because again, if it makes it better for someone, that's fine with me.
That's what I try to do.
I can be a canary in the coal mine or whatever. I really don't care. I have zero to gain or lose from this. So it is funny to see people that are going down the route of, and there's nothing wrong with this, it's a different strategy, brands, partnerships, deals, trying to get clickbait. Like, it's fine if that's your bread and butter. If you need to make a living, do you. But like, I'm still going to poke fun at the trends, and if your videos fall into those trends, well then walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, does clickbait like that, then it is what it is. I don't care.
So be it. I'm gonna let you go. You got to play with your daughter.
Let me get her settled in. But
it's all good.
Yeah, I really do appreciate it, everyone. Yeah. I appreciate you letting me on here tonight, and everyone that's interacting with me on social. I apologize for the audio. I don't know how much it's picking up.
No,
but,
it's all
we'll
good.
Speed it up. We'll do this again for sure, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's what I do. So I appreciate you spending time. Everyone, give him a follow if you can. The link is in the well, Liz has been populating the link as we've been doing this broadcast. So you are good to pop out. You're good. Thanks again. I'm going to now take off my headphones because we are good. Thanks. I'm going to hang up. It's always awkward at the end of the call sometimes, especially when you can't like directly communicate and you're your own producer. But thank you everybody for bearing with. You know, I like to try to. I have to take off my shirt here. Both of them. I'm taking off both shirts tonight. No, it's getting a little warm in here. So I need to take this off. As awesome as some of you were remarking it is. It is awesome. It is fun, but I do need to take it off. For now, I will put it back on potentially tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, by the way. Oh, I'm not done yet. The stream's not over. It's not even close to being over. We're just getting warmed up here. So, thank you, Liz, for those 100 bits.
Faceless cheered X100. Too much, Chris.
What are you talking about? What? The tractor, by the way, this is a Fix-em Dude tractor. One of the tractors that, well, I'm printing one. I don't know how many, Loyal, how many of these, how many objects do you need me to print? Like, for the print drive. How many objects do you need? Because I was just going to do, like, just a handful. Not like I was going to do all of them or anything like that. Is that okay? Is that fine? This is a Fix-em Dude tractor. And it's printing out just fine, I must say. It is beanie time. I mean, I knew I had my Sith Eternal hat somewhere downstairs. I wore my Fakuk cap earlier, and I took it off because I was like, I think I'm gonna go with the Sith Eternal. This is the one I started wearing last year or the year before, right after Rise of Skywalker. I guess it was a couple years ago. The barn turned out perfect. You're grateful for your sharing, inspiring people. No worries. Print as many or as few as you want. Okay, because I wasn't sure. I'm like, you know, I don't really have a lot of build volume. I don't have a farm. I only have one 3D printer, so it's like I didn't want to look like, you know, the bozo who came like, oh, Chris only sent me 2 or 3. This guy over here sent me 4,000, but, you know, Chris, you can't rely on him to print farm stuff. Print 37.5, I can do my best. I have some stuff I need to show everyone. Need being the operative word. Some pickups. Liz, you good? Are you possibly good or are you not good? Is someone good for screenshots before I do this? Because I can hold off until tomorrow. For screenshots onto Discord. I can hold off. I think Liz has been... I can hold off because Liz, I think, is on an iPad, which would mean cropping. Chris is printing them with... I am printing with love. I am. Okay, Liz, I can. There's no rush. I've just got a few things. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be live on YouTube eating cereal and geeking out. I'm going to be comparing the iPhone 13 Pro Max with the Pixel 6 Pro. Just talking about that. You know, the regular YouTube morning stuff. Saturday morning Chris Tunes. And then I'll be back again tomorrow evening, normal time. I've got a couple things that I definitely got to get through before too long. I owe someone a video. You're set up now? Okay, great. Hey, Corey, good to see you. I got this on sale. I had the Darth Vader one. This is it's like a lunchbox. That's what it's called. It's the official title for it. It is a lunchbox. Let me go ahead and flip over cameras. This is a lunchbox, an R2-D2 lunchbox that opens. Snaps open. Or unsnaps open. There you go. So see? It's a lunch box, though it's more of a lunch hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. A lunch octagon. Hexagon would be 6. Your morning stream's actually on the same dime. Oh, nice. Did not know that. So I got that. Also got... This is really cool. Is this the one? Yeah. There's one that was dented. I'd ordered these a while ago, and they got canceled by the place I got them from. But this is Grogu, a.k.a. the child, Domino's. So most of y'all love Domino's Pizza. Oh, look at DB3D Dan trying to give me a shout-out here. Thank you for following Comics Lad. So we've got Grogu and a child Domino's. I've never played Domino's. But anyway, I thought it'd be kind of fun. Oh, they're different Grogu poses on the backs of the Domino's. So now if Jedi wants to play Domino's, we can. We've had Star Wars Domino's. Not like that. Not like this hard plastic. I could probably print them out. Wouldn't be as much fun. But there is a shout out to DB3D Dan. Oh, you. Liz and I are of the same mind. All right, next. Saw this today. at Target. Thank you for following. Who am I thanking here? Fel? Hey, Fel. Good to see you. Just going to shorten your name there. It is a Star Wars snow globe, or glitter globe. It's not really snow. But the nice thing about this particular globe is it's got like it's a globe light. Ooh, almost dropped it. There we go. Let me see if I can get the glitter going in there. There you go, Liz. Sorry, trying to get my hands out of the way to design. It does light up. It does illuminate. It illuminates better in the dark. It doesn't really beam up onto the child, so I wouldn't say it's the best child snow globe out there. But because someone had removed the pull tab, and I don't know if these were new this year, but I'd only seen one on the shelf. This is the only one I saw on the shelf, and so I grabbed it. It's like, oh, dude. And then, theoretically, these are not broken. I got some Rebel espresso mugs at one point. I think I got them locally, and then I found these on sale. Espresso mugs, first order. So now I have the Rebellion and the first order espresso mugs. These cute little mugs, demi-tasse, if you will. Can I call them that? Is that the official word for it? Kind of fun. Obviously from the Last Jedi era, with Praetorian Guard and an Executioner, as well as Kylo Ren. So that's a really nice addition to the miniature mug collection of sorts. The next thing I have to show you, I realized that the Stormtrooper helmet I have downstairs is a little beat up. Cam went out for a second. What do you mean it went out for a second? That's not good. I realized that the Stormtrooper helmet that we have is not great because it's kind of beat up. It's kind of worn. But this is a Black Series. I decided to get a Black Series Stormtrooper helmet. There's also a Black Series Darth Vader helmet that maybe when it drops in price, I'll get another one so I can take one out of the box and wear. But yeah, this is a better Stormtrooper helmet than the one that I currently have, which is unfortunate. The one I currently have is beat up. It's definitely been worn a lot. The other one, I have a full Stormtrooper uniform that I don't really wear. Diana's worn it before, but it's very painful, and it's like at some point I'm probably going to sell it, and maybe at some point in the future get like an AT-AT driver uniform. Like I would probably want to cosplay in that more so than the Stormtrooper. I mean, I've had the Stormtrooper thing for ages. I'm not even sure where to begin selling something like that, but I'm like, I'm just never gonna. It was fun to have, but it probably needs a lot more TLC than it's been getting. I looked too serious. Oh well, I've been working on my serious face, Liz. So glad it paid off. How about this? How about I'm excited for socks? $2 socks. Huh? Yeah? They're not stinky yet because I haven't worn them. So, there you go. Not stinky socks. I need to cosplay as the Emperor. Well, I do have that cloak. That one's... doing the Emperor is easy. The Emperor is super simple. I need to move this out of the way. This. Ah! I'm debating whether or not I show some other stuff, although I may hold off on it till Sunday. So I've got some Thanksgiving. So now we've had Halloween, Christmas, and now Thanksgiving-styled towels. Thankful to be cute. Grogu towels. These I found at Ross. I didn't find them. I might have skipped them. Someone who stocks inventory caught them for me. Said, hey, did you see that we have Thanksgiving towels? I'm like, no. I'm like, what? And this is also fun. Protect, attack, pumpkin spice. There you go. A pumpkin spice Grogu? It's the only pumpkin spice product I think I own now. I tell myself that I'm thankful to be cute every day. Well, I definitely don't. I don't really say. I never really paid much attention to my looks, which explains a lot. So we got a pumpkin spice Grogu, and then another thankful to be cute. This is more like a towel that hangs off like a, when you wash your hands, dry them. So I found this one. I'm like, yeah, you just don't see these branded products for Star Wars often. So when you see it, or when you see them, it's like, oh, dude, this is seasonal. So the chances of this coming back are between slim and none. If they do come back, right? Because they may not come back next year. Yeah, so it's a surprise to find them all at Ross. Because I would not have imagined them coming into Ross that bad. Okay, so I got... These are silicone food mats, according to Chewy. Silicone mats. Let's see if I can hold them up right. Oh yeah, the camera did go out. I saw the camera blip. That's weird, and it was the camera source too. Huh. May need to reboot. I don't know. Not gonna do it right now. You should be able to see Grogu in there. If you look very closely, there's Grogu. As long as the camera doesn't blank out. So this is a silicone mat. So it's made for like, and by the way, they used a one-eyed frog properly. Protect, attack, snack, repeat. So it's made for dog laying on the ground, dog, food or cat food or whatever, keeping the floor from getting messy. But if I need a silicone mat, no, it could be a connection, but I mean, I would be shocked if it was, because the connection hasn't moved. Like and it would be it would either be on or off. So I'm gonna reboot the computer tonight, and maybe we will see. Maybe there it does it again. You heard a pop sound when the camera blinked? You heard a pop sound? It's when I grab something. That doesn't even make any sense. How would it know when I grab something? Every time? No, it's not every time I hit the desk, because I'm hitting the desk now. Only happens when I open something. That doesn't even make any sense. It makes a pop. It doesn't want me under the... How does it... It's not the I don't think it's the static. I mean... I think the pop sound was when I opened the package. It's possible, because I'm like... It's really weird. This one's another one. Like when you plug in a live mic. Weird. I'm not really doing anything. At least on that source. It's very strange. Where's the mat from? Oh, Chewy. Chewy.com. So this is a nom nom nom. So I'm not sure if we need silicone mats right now. But like now, if we do need a silicone mat, we have... See, there's no popping there. At least that I know of. Is it the audio causing? Why would it be the audio? That doesn't make any sense, because I'm not even taking audio out of that camera. It's potentially the camera, because this, you notice this doesn't pop out. This doesn't pop out. Just the ZV-1. Just the camera itself. That's the thing that pops. So hang on just a second. I'm going to try. It's going to intentionally pop for a second. Okay. That was almost really stupid, because I turned it off to turn it back on. I basically deactivated it and then reactivated it. Whether or not that actually does anything, I don't know, or will. Yeah, so it's weird that it would be a pop sound. So I'll check the connection in the back here as soon as I get done opening the rest. I don't think it has anything to do with me opening things. This is another smaller one. One step closer for resin printing. Am I? So anyway, this small one, you heard the sound. No, I'm pretty sure y'all were right. You heard a sound, but the question is why? And what was it? Like, it was obviously the something with the camera that toggled. So that's got me. I don't like it when my equipment starts going wonky. Doesn't make me feel good. Hopefully it's a glitch that when I can't reboot in the middle of the stream though, unfortunately, because that will I thought I had something else that was coming too. Thank you for subbing.
155 just resubscribed for 2 months.
We've got a little baby Grogu in a pod. We've got a Jawa and a Mando. These are like little dog cat toys. Dog or cat toys. Oh, silicone mats are great. Oh, for resin. Oh, fair. Got those. And then they came with this little it's a sandcrawler, a Jawa sandcrawler here. There we go. So they can go in and out of the sandcrawler. Now, I thought I had another thing on order as well, and I guess it didn't come in this package, unfortunately. But it's a little Jawa sandcrawler for the Mando, the Jawa, and the Grogu, so Jedi could have fun with them. These little dog toys, but like these have got to be fun kid toys too, right? Not just for dogs. That's what I'm gonna say. They're not just for dogs. Ah. Okay, now I'm gonna check the connection in on the back of the computer here. Hopefully I don't like trip up back there or break something else. Jedi can put blank paper over the mats and rub the crayons like we used to as a kid. Oh yeah, Mr. Neo Trip, that's a good idea. Didn't think about doing that. Loyal wants the Stormtrooper. I should send you the Stormtrooper. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. Maybe at some point I'll give it away. It's a big giveaway because it cost me like $1,000. Everything. Granted, it's all beat up and stuff now. Oh, we got an Aziz light. I will take care of that when I come. Because there's no way it's falling out. There's no way. And the thing is when it blanks out, I'm curious because I don't know if it blanks out on just the software or the hardware too. So it's like I almost have to keep an eye on the hardware itself, like looking at the pullout, the preview. Because if it blanks out there, it's hardware. But if it blanks out the software, then it's something in the software, the connectivity, right? Oh, shit. No, that's solid. That's solid. Everything's good back there. Everything's fine back there. Everything's normal. Hang on, I gotta hide Loyal again. I keep Loyal behind the curtain. That's where he's chatting. You didn't see him, did you? You didn't see him back there, did you? Wormhole's gonna be opening? Yeah, probably. So, if you see it burp again... I mean, I usually I don't pay. I mean, sometimes I pay attention to the preview, but it's like I gotta see it like if I notice it there and there or just there because that would help further troubleshoot it. My feeling is it could have been a temporary blip a couple times and could resolve itself after a reboot. Yes, exactly. Did I try turning it off and on again? Not right now. Not in the middle of the stream. You cannot do that in the middle of a stream, unfortunately. It's just not going to happen. I gotta do that tomorrow, too. Cable management behind the desk's cleanest door. It's not as bad as you'd think. I got a couple of, like, steel... Well, 2 or 3 steel stools for back there. Because normally there was nothing back there. And I was like, I need to have something off the ground. And so I realized that having tiered steel stools back there ended up managing or helped me manage like what I needed to manage above the ground or off the ground. Yeah, but what color am I going with, Airwolf? Yeah, hopefully it won't happen again. And hopefully if it does, my feeling is, it's just my gut, it's a connectivity issue between the camera and the computer, which is somewhat easier to troubleshoot than the camera. Because if the camera itself did it, then I'd know. But I think it just blipped out in software. So it could be OBS, that scene in OBS. It could be something in Windows 11. It could be a cable. It could be, 1,000 different things. Pink. That's as close to pink as I get. And a charades. Oh, man. And a long beard. Captain Longbeard here. Hey, Baron Von Bunyip. Good to see ya. Doing well. Just had a guest interview. Showcase some of the stuff I got tonight. Someone liked my reply on YouTube. Doesn't do me any good. Give me a second. That's as close to pink. Pink doesn't really happen. All right. No, I'm doing a charades. If I can't hear, I only have this on when I have the interview. I did. Yeah. I only want to do them for an hour. What's the R2D2 thing? The call. No, I already showed it. That was yesterday. Thank you. Fucho got it.
Wait, I was doing bunny. I was doing bunny.
Yeah, I know, but that wasn't the thing. I was trying to get all. Then I'm like, okay, all was what I was going for. I was doing 1, 2, it's like all. But you're all, you didn't get it. You're like, count. No. Like, I didn't know how I was gonna do that. Thank God Jedi came in. That was almost disastrous. I would have done my first. Myself, individual, Chris. No, it wouldn't have worked. I don't think it would have worked. Hey, D. Randolph, 1976. I'm using Jesse PLA tonight. I was using a different red yesterday. It's basically, it's seemingly the same kind of red, but I'm using your red on the tractor, on the Fix 'em Dude tractor. Actually, a bit of relief when you don't get it. What? What do you mean? What's that supposed to mean? I'm surprised Jedi got around all this stuff. Oh, man. Jedi sent me a photo. When Jedi sends me photos, I always get worried. because she's using Facebook Messenger. We let her on it. Oh, she took it from the bathroom. That's just... So then she gets a very confused-faced daddy. If my life depended on charade skills, I'd be a goner. Oh, no, I just need practice. Treddy asks, what do I think of Windows 11? I've done a couple of TLDRs on it. You may want to look it up there for extended thoughts, but for the most part, it's been good to me. It's a step in the right direction. I like many of the features that Microsoft is trying to polish. I just want it to be more polished. I think Windows 11 is going to be even better over time, and I'm anxious for Windows. That's how I know I'm kind of invested, because it's like I'm excited to see the changes that come to it over the coming years. So, I mean, there's nothing that's been throwing me off. It's just that I would prefer a lot more consistency now. I want consistency now. Windows 10 didn't really get polished though. Like, it got polished-ish, and ultimately still felt very much like an old, like one new version of Windows with an old version of Windows, and that's where Windows is, and that's where it has been. So the question is when Microsoft was going to take the step forward and actually realize that design was important, and that's the thing that they did with Windows 11. So, hey, Groggy Nod. Yeah, I'm grateful that Microsoft is paying attention to design finally, but it's not where I would want it to be. It's not where I need it to be. But knowing that it will continuously get improved it gives me hope. I'm very happy. I'm hopeful. Hey says got the Windows update for the free upgrade. I mean, I'm not a heavy Windows user anymore, so it's not like I rely on all these pieces of software. I kind of went with a design. I mean, design ultimately leads most of the decisions I make. And I'm using Windows right now. That's what the Stream PC is. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that I want Microsoft to continue to improve. And it sounds like they will, right? Like, update all the apps to be designed really well. And, like, they did Paint. They updated Paint. And the problem is that I'm not so sure that Paint improved. Like, when you resize it, you have this black background that's really weird. Kind of like when you resize the Windows Explorer. It has a white background. I mean, it's just not... It really needs to be cleaned up. Oh yeah, Groggy Nod. I added new emotes the other day. I think those are channel-only emotes. Can't run on your machines. Haven't had a chance to play with it. It's fine. But it's like Windows 11 will be better. I mean, this should go without saying, but like Windows 10 got better over time, yes. But Windows 11 should be demonstrably better a year from now. Like, I want to see menus cleaned up. I want to see applications cleaned up. I want it to feel like it's a single operating system from a single vendor, right? And then all the third parties, kind of fall in line with that. I don't know if they will. That's completely up to the third parties, which is stressful. But like I said, I'm grateful that most of my reliance upon, because I use multiple operating systems, Chrome OS, Mac OS, Windows, I'm platform agnostic. But if I had a preference, it would be something that is far more coherent and cohesive. And for that, I would say that Mac OS is definitely leading the pack. Yeah, I've used... I mean, who doesn't use Microsoft Paint, right, on Windows? But, like, even in using it, like, unless it's gotten updated, yeah, for some reason, like, black appears. Like, when you launch it or you resize it, like, there's black in the background. It's just... It's sloppy. It's really, 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 really sloppy. My daily driver, I use them all. I honestly, I don't have one. in being direct about that. It's just there's no such thing as a daily driver for me anymore. For the stream, I use a Windows PC. For slicing files to print, I use the same Windows PC. For like general operation, like what I might need to do here, there, or wherever, like just for general usage, I use my Mac. For what else? I use Android. That is definitely a go-to phone, specifically the Samsung experience, which is better than Google's Android experience, and I cannot believe I'm saying that, but it's true. I'm opening the Jedi Revan, by the way. Threatened to do this the other day, but I use an iPhone. You don't see it all that often, but I use the iPhone when I'm interviewing. The person who's watching me can see it, but ooh, I like this Revan. This Revan's fun. Yeah, Jedi Revan. Whew. Look, why can't I move the arm very easily? Holy cow. This other arm does not want to move. Yeah, Hollywood. I mean, I got duplicates because I was like, it's just too cool. I think Jedi wanted one possibly because the purple lightsaber, but we've got a Jedi Revan, not Darth. A Jedi Revan. Glad you're here, Hollywood. Your Bluetooth drivers disappeared a few months ago. Can't find the download of the drivers. Maybe Windows 11 upgrade. Oh, it's possible. You never know. I mean, I haven't had, since upgrading to macOS Monterey, I have not had any issues with that Revan figure. Is just spectacular. I think I like the Jedi Revan more than the Darth Revan. Not gonna lie. That Jedi Revan's fantastic. I do have the Darth Revan, not the new one, or the reissue, the archive. I don't have the archive one yet. I didn't have any. I've had issues. Trust me, I have issues right now with Monterey. Like and those are issues that in the past with Big Sur had been addressed with point releases. So I'm hopeful that certain point releases of macOS Monterey will mitigate some of the issues. I have an issue specifically with the external monitors connected to my Thunderbolt dock. It's the monitor sometimes flickers out, and it comes back. I mean, and then ultimately, in order to fix the problem, I have to unplug the monitor and plug it back in. It's a minor annoyance. So I hope that gets patched at some point in the near future with Monterey. I had Big Sur Bluetooth problems where the keyboard would like stick and the mouse it wouldn't work well. I have not had those issues with the Bluetooth stack in Monterey yet, which is pronounced because that was something that I ran into. I'm not going to say every day, but frequently enough that I'm like, okay, the keyboard's going in the morning, so I have to turn off Bluetooth, turn it back on, and I haven't had to do that since then. So, let's see. Give me a second. Interesting. I know. Okay, I started shortcuts for the first time. And I don't want it. How do I get shortcuts out of my menu bar? I don't want shortcuts in my menu bar. This is okay, how do I turn off menu bar? Do I turn it off here? Okay, so okay. Sidebar. Maybe if I turn off sidebar, does it turn off? Yeah, no, it doesn't turn off. How do I turn it off? Yeah, I'm gonna need a call for help for sure, because like turn off. How to turn off Monterey shortcuts menu bar icon. Open the shortcuts app. See the create shortcuts from the homepage. Open shortcut. You want to hide or remove. Oh, from the top menu bar. Click on shortcut. Okay. Right click. No. What does it say? Open shortcut that you want to hide or remove from the top Mac menu bar. Open. Okay. So I opened it. Click on settings for shortcut. Where's the settings for shortcut? Settings? No. Keep in menu bar? It doesn't even give me that option. It says pin in menu bar. But I can't actually, it's always there. I don't want any of them. This is like, now it's just an empty menu. Okay, so let's try this. Hold down the command key, hover your mouse cursor over the icon you want to remove, holding down the left mouse button. Drag the icon out of the menu. No, that does not work. That doesn't work either. Used to be able to like move them around too, right? Like you could shift them around. It's like you like command and yeah, I'm not seeing how to remove the shortcut. No, I can't. I'm trying that, Fucho, and it's not. Hold on to command. Oh, now it worked. Okay, hopefully it doesn't come back. How come it didn't work before? Weird. I honestly, I'm like one of those people, like, you know, in fact, I should, you know, there are people who keep all the icons in their status bar, in their menu bar. I'm the guy who turns them all off. Thank you, Kopakash. Appreciate you hanging out. Thank you for being here during the interview as well. Very appreciated. Immensely appreciated. Hang on, I'm getting a TVC ping from one of my Discord servers. Oh, Dr. Afra 3-pack is in stock again. It's a little pricey. Yeah, I pretty much did everything that I was hoping to do here tonight. The interview being one, showcasing other stuff, geeking out with y'all. So I guess that means the next thing we're gonna do is some Gartic on stream. Let's see if I can get this to work again. Remember doing this before? Give me a second. I have to do it. Do it. Oops. Let's do options. Copy link. Paste, because I have to do it every single time. I have to do it. There we go. Alright, here we go. Alright, good luck, everyone. If you remember playing this game, it works. You gotta guess each of the sections, throw out words. Crossroad. Crossroads? Crossroad? Highway? Intersection. What is that? Bike? Tricycle. Wheelchair. Car. Bus? Hey, I got wheelchair. Camera. Point. Stairs. Mountain. Climb. Dog. Lion. Oh, whip. Ah, whip. Whip. Cross. What is that? T-shirt? What is that? Oh, one way. Direction. Point. Pointed. Pointing. Oh, crucifix. Oh, boy, getting Catholic here. Flash. Left. River. Stream. Woo, Liz got it before I did. Dang it. Candle. Lamp. Sword. Kite. Ball. Fortune. Did I get fortune? Wait. Field. Oh, crystal ball. Nice, restarted. Look. What is that? Hot. Mining. Gem. Wax. Waxy. Candle. Alright, well done. Skip 2 levels. Alright, so I get to reward people, right? Reward sent success. Wait, hang on. How many people do I reward 4 people? Okay. So it still remembered that. Because it's been a while since we've last done this. Alright. Who's winning? You just get... there's no winning. You just keep doing it until you get the most amount of points. Just guess. Ah, Daisy. Good one. Restarted's like ruling the roost here. Ah. You gotta be good at Pictionary for this. Is that a peanut? Yeah, Mark got it before I did. Dang it. Some of them, why are they stalled? Coloring them doesn't help. Coconut milk? Wow. That was a stretch. What did A Hayes get? What was the last one? Tequila. All right, level 3 ranking. Rewarding. Continuing. Tequila. I never would have gotten tequila. Well, I guess Mexico and the scorpion. Was that a scorpion in the bottle? Pen. Lamp. Bedroom. Oh, starfruit. Wow, Hollywood. Is that a computer screen up there? Black hole. Hair. Octopus. Locker. Lockers. Cabinets. Tentacles. Nice, Brit. Good call. Shout out to Sith Lord Brit. Mouse. Bomb. Rat. What is that? Explode. Capillary? What? What is that? Cornea. Okay. Y'all get some points. See how far we can make it. It's a sclera? Sclera? You got further than I did. The cornea, I guess, would be the surface, yeah? Man, you got it before I did. Ah, good one. Oh, what is that? Almost looks like a casket. Oh, wait. We're not doing too hot. Is it a fool? Y'all are getting them like right before I do too. It's funny. We better hurry up. Uh-oh. I think that was it. Ah. Voice calls. Oh, we can't do. I don't think we can do that one. All right, let's try. Here, we're gonna give some rewards. Let's give rewards to everybody. And for being top players. Restarted. Watch out for restarted there. Let's try words on stream. I have to get the link here. Because you have to do it every single dang time. I wish it was a little less klutzy. But, you know, can't complain too loudly. Alright, let's try this. Yes, great. Okay. Here we go. Get those words. Y'all do really... I think Liz does really well at this one. This one, I'm not as skilled at. I'm making up words now. Uh... Yar. Y'all are doing really well too. Sorry, like my PIP is up over one of them. Good job. Let's give out some rewards. Oh, that sucks. Let's give out more. Ah. Sorry, it's hopefully it doesn't continue before I have a chance to, like, because it won't let me manually enter in how many points go out, so I have to, like, tap through. Sorry, I'm tapping through to give out a higher amount of rewards to people. Give me a second. Almost there. Come on. I just wish it would, like, let you... I wish I could talk to the developers of this software to say, hey, could you make it do this? Can you make it do that? Alright, there we go. Okay, so let's give out 10,000 to... There we go. Send? Why is it not working? Send? Fill in the blank. Command use, distribute. Add points. Wait. Add points. Nick. And points. Okay, send. Did it work? There we go. Okay, continue. This is a toughie. Oh, Alvin! Live. Anvil, good one. Via villain. Whoa, dude. Good one. Wow, only 2 left. Oh, good luck, everyone. Good luck. It's funny, like, how you end up getting, you start repeating yourself. Even though you know that's not, it's never gonna work. Oh man. Is it Lanai? Really? I thought it would be Lanai. Well, we got 2 stars. Not bad. Okay, give me out points. You don't get a ton of points, because, like... Oh boy. Well, we filled out a lot. Holy cow, dude. Dude, look at that. Look at that. Only 2 left? Oh my god. Come on, one more. Oh boy. Let's do this. Holy cow! I can't believe that. Wow. Dude. That was a great round. That round was almost over before it began. Oh geez. No one's guessing, like, what the hell? Oh, nice! Oh, boy. Oh, so V isn't a... you can't use V. Okay. This one's a little harder. Ooh, did we make it? Level completed. Barely. What? Remom's a word? How is remom not a word? Mome? What about mome? Mrock? Rico. Man, that was a tough one. We still did well. Level 9, 2 stars. Y'all are on point. Here we go. Next. Uh... Well, we got through this level. We just gotta get the rest of these here. Oh boy. For some reason, my brain wants to spell hemorrhoid, but I know that's not an option here, is it? Dude, well, we did pretty well there. We're going to skip 2 levels to 11. Liz, you may have won that round. A lot of good guesses there. I'm guessing at the same time you do, too, by the way. Oh, jeez. Oh, dang it. I was off. Man, I started typing and I wasn't in the command line. This one's gonna be a little... Oh, it was a P. We got through the level. We just a couple. How is trot not a word? Really? Fantastic. Whoa. Did pretty well there. All right, now let's try next level. This may be the end. Let us see. Oh boy. Uh... Oh, wait, hang on. Orang? That's a word? Okay, how's Argon? Yeah, okay, Argon was taken. I was like, wait a minute. Angro. Gronza. How's Gronza not a word? D. Zorg. Emperor Zorg, right? Grand. Level completed. Oh, barely made that one. Dude, this might be the highest we've ever gone in this game. It's been months. Sloin. Sloin's a word? Sounds like a word. Resin, naturally here with all these 3D printing people. Royals? That should be a word. Wait, how is snarl not a word? Oh, because A's not there. Oops. Slorn. I was sad and slorn. Snorl. Come on, snorl's a word. We need to make it a word. It should be. Oslern. Oslern is a type of bird. I was really good. You remember playing Balderdash? Remember Balderdash? I was really good. I was really good at Balderdash. Really good. Like, really, 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 really good. Oslern. It's a bird. A bird of prey. You gotta be specific. You can't just say a bird. You gotta say a bird of prey found in South America. An Oslorn. Like, I could sell it. I could sell Balderdash. I used to love Balderdash. That was probably one of my favorites. Ah, man, didn't make it. Do I give points, though? Do I get to give points? There we go. Y'all get some points. And y'all get some points. The top points. Top scorers there. Wow. Dude, I feel we did pretty well. What do y'all think? I think we did pretty well for not having played that in, like, eons. Like, eons and eons and eons. What say you? We're gonna start winding down. We're about 8:30. Plus, Papa Bear, who's been hanging out in chat for the past few days, is streaming right now. So I would like to. I wanted to end tonight. We did everything tonight, dude. We geeked out with an interview. I showed you some Star Wars stuff. We did the 3D printing thing. Played some games together. Geeked out about one thing or another. Chatted back and forth. And now we're gonna raid someone that we have never raided before. First time you played it, it's good. Yeah, we did that. It was a long time ago. But it may end up being one of those things that we play. I'm not gonna say at the end of every stream, necessarily, but like when things are kind of in a lull, like what's going on, I'll just pick it up. Your wife is jelly. She loves word games. Well, tell her to join. Tell her to join next time. You're horrible at crosswords. Oh, I love all that. I love that kind of stuff. So last night's raid was really weird. I pressed the button and was going to press it again, and then it raided, but some people didn't actually go to the raid. So we're going to be raiding Papa Bear AZ, someone who's been hanging out in the stream for the past little while. He is a 3D printer guy. He's obviously into Prussias. We were playing last night after you raided. Oh, nice. The website, you got to play it. It's Gartic on stream and Words on stream are the two games. And you have to play them, like, it's specifically made to be played on Twitch. So, hey, Mine37388, good to see ya. We're just getting ready to raid tonight. I'll be back again tomorrow, though. 6 p.m. Pacific. With other things to talk about. Tomorrow, I'll be back again tomorrow. And hopefully you will, too. So, yeah. There's that. Did you see you ordered 2 more? You ordered 2 more Prussias? Oh my god. That's hilarious. Yeah, there will be a morning stream tomorrow on Twitch. And then I'll be back again tomorrow at the regular time here on... morning stream tomorrow on YouTube. Regular time tomorrow on Twitch, tomorrow evening. So feel free to join both places if you are so inclined. I love you. I appreciate you. But at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. And may the Force be with you always. I have no idea if by pressing this button it's going to raid now. So I kind of have to guess. We'll find out. Okay, now it doesn't. Yesterday when I pressed it, I was waiting for the countdown, and the countdown didn't happen. It just pushed everybody over automatically. It was really weird. Either way, we're going to be Tusken raiding Papa Bear AZ, another 3D printer person who I would now consider a part of the community. He showed up a few times here. Always appreciate the extra voices that we get. And expanding the community one by one. Hope to see everybody tomorrow. Here we go. Tusken raiding. Get those Tusken Raider emotes ready. Just like Vape Doom did. Vape Doom's on point with those Tusken Raider emotes. Get them going. Perillo Raider emotes. Get your Perillo Raider emotes. Tusken raiding in 3, 2, 1. And then the tab closed. All right, I gotta get... Yes, got it. Okay, Perillo Raider. There we go. You've been raided, Bear. Bling.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
What's
up, guys? Chris Perillo, howdy.
Looks like he's printing a clone gun.
I have Murlocs, by the way.
Yeah.
Is that a chicken? What is that?
What a chicken.
There's that Guy Fieri.
What?
Bowplay photos, thank you. Faulty Giant, thank you.